Okay, it's time to move on to the second part of the channel rack. Here I'm going to discuss more in depth about what everything can do, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about other elements within the channel rack, such as the piano roll. Okay, so let's begin with the side right here. So, as you can see from before, we were talking about these two knobs here. This is the volume knob, this is where we control our volume. However, I talked about the channel panning knob as well. The channel panning knob allows you to obviously pan your sounds, say here, you pan this one to the left a certain amount, or to the right. As a general rule of thumb, you don't tend to pan your drum sound. You can pan hats and perks, but nothing else. Moving on, I would like to also talk about things that you can do to your actual channel rack in the way of adding instruments. So I'm going to pick a random sound. Now over on the side here we have our browser. It starts off like this, and you'll have a number of different files here. Now I've got a file here called packs. You may also have a file called packs, or you may have something else, usually it's along the name of packs. So I have packs, and then you should have something here called drums, where you can choose kicks, hats, percussion, sound effects, toms, all that sort of stuff. If later on we'll talk about downloading custom sounds and putting them in here. That's why I've got all these special sounds, because obviously I've been at this for a while. Anyway, so if you want to add another sound onto here, you pick the sound you're looking for. So I'm going to add a new hat, and if you actually click on it, you usually get a little demo. However, I'm not getting one just now, which is really strange. That's interesting. See if I can maybe get one from playing here. There we go. So it must just be the sounds here. Usually you get a little demo of what's going on. So I'm actually going to use my own sounds, and I'm going to listen for a new hi-hat. Okay, I quite like this one. So this hat here, it's not really doing it for me. Nah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click, drag it, and I'm going to drop it on top. And that is going to change the sound. You see these buttons here? These are the toggle buttons. They allow us to mute a certain track and let us listen to specific ones. So when they're grey, it means they're not on, and when they're green, it means they are. So it says green, it's going to let me listen to the hat on its own. Now with the snare. Cool. But I want to add some more sounds. Maybe an open hat. Yeah, I'm going to add this one here. If I want to add another sound, I can just click and I can drag and drop. I could also put it anywhere else I want. Maybe I could put it in between here if I want to keep it nice and clean. So I'm just going to get rid of this. I don't need it. So I'm going to right click it and I'm going to go to delete. Are you sure? Yes. Now I'm just going to add a few more sounds in here. I'm going to bring down the volume a little bit and go. Oh, so cheesy. Absolutely horrendous. But it doesn't matter. Anyway, so this is in the way of just playing kick drums and stuff like that, and just general hi-hats. But what about actual instruments? What about pianos and strings and synthesizers? Well, I'm going to show you something. This will allow me to add new synths and sounds into a channel rack. So first of all, I've got my drums on one pattern. Now I want to add a sound to a completely different pattern so that I don't hear these drums and all that going on at the same time. So if I go over here, it says pattern 1. If I just click and drag up, I can go to pattern 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 999. So I'm going to bring that down. I'm just going to scroll up. There we go, 1. Now as you see, all your sounds are still available. You can still master them as much as you want. But I'll show you guys some file organization. I'll show you that later. Anyway. Here we will move on to right clicking on any of these sounds really. Right click on any one you want and then you go to insert, and this is your plugin picker. Plugins are the types of instruments you get or sound effects, and as you can see from here I have a number of very interesting ones. You will not have these if you have just installed FL Studio for the first time. You will have all of these ones here. So I'll show you these ones later on, but just now I'm going to go down here and I'm going to open up FL Keys. This is the stock piano plugin from FL Studio. I'm not going to mess with anything here. I'm just going to play sounds. Cool. Now, to actually have sounds play, we're going to open something called the piano roll. So I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to go to the piano roll. It's going to bring up this new window. Now this is obviously a piano, as you can see here, and it has the sharp flat notes, in black, and it has all the regular notes in white. This is bass C, or middle C, and if you just click anywhere here, it's going to let you put down all of these things. But if you right click, then you can get rid of. You can right click on it and do that, or you can right click and drag. It does the same thing. So I'm going to add a note here, and this is not quite as long as I want it, considering that this is 1 bar, and 4 bars here make up, this is 1 beat, 2 beat, 3 beat, 4 beat makes up a bar. I'm actually going to click and drag this because I want it to be the length of a whole bar. Now let's add a chord. There we go, very nice and pretty, as you can tell. Add some more. There you go, that's our basic sounds. Alright, I appreciate you guys watching this tutorial. Stay tuned for the next one.